First contact and conscription. The vast chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as High Counselor Zextrol rose from his seat. His four limbs trembled slightly despite his efforts to appear composed. The holographic displays surrounding the chamber showed footage that had most of the assembled representatives shifting uncomfortably in their seats. "What you are witnessing," Zextrol's voice echoed through the chamber, "is the reason why Protocol 7 Alpha exists. The reason why involving humans in our conflicts is now forbidden under penalty of immediate sanction." The footage showed humanoid figures moving with terrifying efficiency through what appeared to be the wreckage of a massive battle cruiser. The humans weren't particularly large compared to many species, nor were they the most technologically advanced. But there was something in their movements, a ruthless determination combined with an improvisational creativity that sent shivers through many of the watching representatives. "Let me tell you how we learned this lesson," Zextrol continued, "and why this warning exists." Captain Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the International Space Station, watching as the massive alien vessel gradually decelerated into Earth orbit. 3 months had passed since humanity's first detection of the ship, and the world had gone through every stage of panic, wonder, and now cautious hope as the vessel had finally made its intentions to communicate clear. "Captain, the UN Secretary-General is requesting your presence in the comm room," her second-in-command said, breaking her contemplation. In the communications room, the holographic projector displayed the image of a tall, slender being with iridescent scales and 4 arms. Its voice had been translated into a neutral, almost melodic tone. "We are the Excelfori," the alien said. "We come seeking alliance and trade with your promising species. We offer technological advancement in exchange for cultural exchange and limited defensive cooperation." Over the next 6 months, the Excelfori shared remarkable technologies. Medical advances that cured several previously terminal human diseases, energy production methods that solved the climate crisis almost overnight, and propulsion systems that made interplanetary travel within the solar system a matter of days rather than months. In return, they asked for a modest contribution, a contingent of human military personnel to help train their own forces in Earth's unique tactical approaches. The UN, after heated debate, agreed to send 500 volunteers, primarily from special forces backgrounds across a dozen nations. Captain Chen was selected to lead the mission. As a former Navy SEAL with a doctorate in xenobiology, she represented the ideal combination of military prowess and scientific curiosity that Excelfori claimed to admire. "This is a historic opportunity," the UN Secretary-General told the assembled volunteers before their departure. "You will be humanity's first ambassadors to the stars. Make us proud." The Excelfori vessel, the Luminous Accord, departed Earth orbit with its human contingent amid global celebration. News outlets hailed the beginning of humanity's cosmic age. Scientists and political leaders spoke of a new era of peace and prosperity. None of them would know the truth for nearly a year. "Wake up, Captain," a harsh voice cut through the fog of induced sleep. Sarah Chen's eyes fluttered open to find herself not in the comfortable quarters she'd been assigned, but strapped to what appeared to be a medical table. Around her, other humans were similarly restrained, some still unconscious, others awake and struggling against their bonds. Excelfori stood over her, but its demeanor had changed entirely from the diplomatic courtesy they'd shown on Earth. This one wore what appeared to be military insignia, and regarded her with cold, calculating eyes. "The sleep cycle is complete. The neural implants have been successfully installed in all subjects. They are ready for deployment," the Excelfori stated to another of its kind. "What is this?" Chen demanded. "We came as allies, as trainers. Release us immediately." The military Excelfori made a sound that the translation implant rendered as laughter. "Humans are so predictable. Your species' desperation to join the galactic community made you blind to the most obvious deception. You are not here as trainers, Captain Chen. You are here as weapons." Over the following hours, as the humans were processed through what was clearly a military facility, the truth emerged. The Xelphori were engaged in a centuries-long war with another species called the Vrax, a conflict over resource-rich systems at the edge of both their territories. Despite superior technology, the Xelphori had been losing ground due to the Vrax's overwhelming numbers and natural resilience. "Your species possesses qualities we find useful," explained Commander Thexlar, who appeared to be in charge of what they were now calling the Human Combat Initiative. "You adapt quickly, you improvise with remarkable creativity, and most importantly, you have an almost suicidal determination when cornered. You lied to our entire planet." Major Jackson, one of the American Special Forces officers, spat at the commander. "Of course we did," Thexlar replied dismissively. "Your governments would never have willingly sent soldiers to fight in a war that doesn't concern them. But now, you have no choice. The neural implants will ensure compliance." The implants, they soon discovered, didn't control their minds as they had feared. Instead, they simply induced extraordinary pain if direct orders were disobeyed. The Xelphori weren't interested in mindless drones. They wanted human ingenuity and tactical thinking intact. They just wanted it directed at their enemies. Within weeks, the human contingent was deployed to the front lines of the conflict. Equipped with Xelphori battle armor and weapons they barely understood, they were thrown into combat against the Vrax. Massive, six-limbed creatures with natural armor and regenerative capabilities. The first engagements were disastrous. Nearly 100 humans died in the initial battles, outmatched by the physically superior Vrax and unfamiliar with their own equipment. But then something happened that the Xelphori had counted on. The humans began to adapt. Captain Chen and the surviving officers started analyzing the patterns of Vrax combat, identifying weaknesses in their natural armor, and developing unconventional tactics that leveraged human speed and agility against Vrax strength. They discovered that the neural implants, while preventing direct disobedience, left considerable room for interpretation of orders. "They told us to eliminate the enemy forces," Chen told her fellow officers in a rare moment of privacy. They didn't specify how. What followed shocked even their Xelphori handlers. Rather than engaging in direct combat as expected, the humans began employing guerrilla tactics. They set ambushes, created improvised explosives from damaged equipment, and used the terrain to their advantage. When ordered to hold a position, they would construct elaborate traps rather than standing their ground in the open. 4 months into their forced service, the humans had transformed from cannon fodder into a terrifyingly effective fighting force. The Vrax, accustomed to the predictable tactics of the Xelphori, found themselves unable to counter the constantly evolving human approaches. "They're afraid of us," Lieutenant Potil observed during a rare moment of rest between engagements. She had noticed how the Xelphori supervisors maintained greater distance when interacting with the humans now. "Not just the Vrax, our supposed allies too." Chen nodded. "They should be. They thought they were getting obedient soldiers. Instead, they've created something they can barely control." The opportunity they had been waiting for came during the battle for the Nexus Point, a strategic communications hub in a disputed system. The human contingent, now reduced to 347 survivors, was ordered to secure the facility while the main Xelphori force engaged the Vrax fleet in orbit. "This is it," Chen told her officers, using hand signals rather than spoken words to avoid the monitoring systems. "Secure the hub, establish communications with Earth, and find a way to disable these implants." As the battle raged above them, the humans executed their plan with precision. A team led by Major Jackson engaged the Vrax defenders in a ferocious frontal assault, drawing attention while Chen led a smaller group through maintenance tunnels they had identified from studying the facility schematics. They reached the central communications array, and Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez, their electronics specialist, immediately began working to establish a connection to Earth. "Captain," he said after several tense minutes, "I found something interesting. There's a record of communications between the Xelphori and something called the Galactic Council. They've been warning the Xelphori about using humans in combat. Apparently, there's some kind of protocol against it. Chen looked over his shoulder at the translated text. Copy everything. And get that message to Earth. Tell them everything. The deception, the implants, the war. And tell them we're coming home, one way or another. As Rodriguez worked, the facility shook with explosions. The battle was intensifying above them, and time was running out. But for the first time since their abduction, a dangerous hope began to spread among the human soldiers. They had made contact. Earth now knew the truth, and that Selfori were about to learn why dragging humans into their war had been their most catastrophic mistake. The reckoning and the warning. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been called with unprecedented urgency. Representatives from 17 spacefaring civilizations gathered in the ancient chamber, their expressions grim as they reviewed the data before them. The situation has escalated beyond all acceptable parameters. High Administrator Vix Nor of the Jurathi Confederation stated, "The Selfori have violated Protocol 7 Alpha by conscripting humans into their conflict with the Vrax. The consequences are concerning." The holographic display in the center of the chamber showed battle footage that had many of the representatives visibly disturbed. Human soldiers who had been expected to serve as disposable shock troops had instead systematically dismantled Vrax defenses with terrifying efficiency. More alarming was how they had begun modifying Selfori technology, creating hybrid weapons and tactics that neither the Selfori nor the Vrax had anticipated. The humans have seized control of 3 Selfori warships, reported the monitoring official. They have disabled their neural implants and are now operating independently of Selfori command. They appear to be heading toward the nexus point with the intention of returning to their homeworld. This is precisely why Protocol 7 Alpha was established, Zextral reminded the Council. Humans are classified as a volatile species for good reason. Their evolutionary history as persistence predators has made them uniquely dangerous when cornered. Their psychological profile indicates a species that becomes more innovative and cohesive under extreme pressure. The Selfori must face sanction for this violation, declared the Vrax representative, whose species was now suffering the consequences of the Selfori's mistake. Sanctions will come later, Zextral replied. First, we must contain this situation before it escalates further. I propose we dispatch a diplomatic vessel to intercept the humans and negotiate their safe return to Earth. The Council voted unanimously in favor of the proposal, recognizing the urgency of preventing further escalation. On Earth, the revelation of the Selfori's betrayal had united humanity in a way that nothing in history ever had. The transmitted data from Captain Chen had been verified and shared with all nations. The response was swift and unequivocal. "We are activating the Sentinel Protocol," announced Admiral Howard of the newly formed Earth Defense Coalition. "All vessels incorporating Selfori technology are to be prepared for immediate deployment. Our people are coming home, and heaven help anyone who stands in our way." The technologies that the Selfori had shared, intended to be mere trinkets to gain human trust, had been studied, reverse-engineered, and weaponized with alarming speed. 7 warships, built in secret by various nations, but now operating under unified command, broke Earth orbit on a direct course for the coordinates provided by Captain Chen. Aboard the lead vessel, the EDS Retribution, Admiral Howard addressed the combined forces. "We are about to engage in humanity's first interstellar rescue mission. The enemy believes they have superior technology and experience. What they fail to understand is that humanity has been preparing for this moment since we first looked up at the stars. We will not abandon our people." Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the captured Selfori vessel, which they had renamed Defiance. The neural implants had been neutralized thanks to Dr. Abrams, their medical officer, who had discovered that a specific frequency disrupted the devices without damaging human neural tissue. "Incoming vessel," reported Lieutenant Peddle from the sensor station. "Configuration unknown. Not Selfori or Vrax." "Battle stations," Chen ordered, her voice calm despite the exhaustion of the past weeks. Prepare for encounter. The unknown vessel approached cautiously, maintaining a non-threatening distance. A communication request came through their systems. This is Emissary Naxtel of the Galactic Council, the translated voice announced. We wish to parley with the human commander. Chen exchanged glances with her officers before responding. This is Captain Sarah Chen of Earth. What is the Galactic Council, and where were you when the Excelfori abducted us? The communication screen activated, showing a being unlike either the Excelfori or the Vrax, more avian in appearance, with feathered crests and intelligent eyes. The Galactic Council oversees interspecies relations among 17 spacefaring civilizations, Naxtel explained. The Excelfori's actions in conscripting your people violated one of our most important protocols. We are here to facilitate your safe return home and to offer reparations. Why should we trust you? Chen demanded. Because we have been monitoring your species for centuries, the emissary replied. Protocol 7 Alpha exists specifically to prevent what has happened. Humans are classified as a volatile species, one with unique capabilities that become enhanced under duress. The Excelfori ignored our warnings, and now they understand their error. Before Chen could respond, new alerts sounded from the sensor station. Captain, multiple vessels approaching at high velocity, Paddle reported. 7 ships. They're broadcasting Earth identification codes. For the first time in months, Chen felt a genuine smile form. Open a channel. Admiral Howard's face appeared on the screen, his expression first surprised, then relieved at seeing humans in control of an alien vessel. Captain Chen, looks like you started the rescue without us. Always the overachiever. Sir, Chen replied, emotion thickening her voice. But I'm very glad to see you. The arrival of the Earth fleet complicated the diplomatic situation. The Galactic Council emissary found himself negotiating not just with escaped conscripts, but with an officially sanctioned military force representing a previously uncontacted civilization. A conference was established aboard the Council diplomatic vessel. Captain Chen and Admiral Howard represented Earth, while Emissary Naxtel spoke for the Council. 2 Excelfori representatives attended, clearly uncomfortable and under guard. The actions of the Excelfori Empire were unauthorized and condemned by the Council. Naxtel explained, we offer our sincere apologies and propose immediate reparations. Apologies won't bring back the 153 of my people who died fighting a war that wasn't ours, Chen stated coldly. We understand your anger, the emissary acknowledged. But I must impress upon you the gravity of what has occurred. Your people have demonstrated capabilities that concern the Council. In less than a standard orbital cycle, humans not only adapted to alien technology but improved upon it. You developed tactics that defeated forces with centuries of interstellar combat experience. Admiral Howard leaned forward. Are you saying you're afraid of us? Caution is not fear, Admiral. Naxtel replied diplomatically. But yes, there is concern. Your species possesses a combination of traits rarely seen in the galaxy. Extreme adaptability, pack bonding that extends beyond your immediate group, and a form of optimistic persistence that borders on irrationality. These traits make humans potentially valuable allies but dangerous adversaries. The negotiations continued for days. Eventually, terms were agreed upon. The surviving humans would return to Earth with full reparations from the Excelfori. Earth would be granted observer status in the Galactic Council, with provisions for eventual membership. Most importantly, a formal warning would be issued to all spacefaring civilizations regarding human involvement in interstellar conflicts. 1 year later, a permanent human embassy had been established on the Galactic Council station. Ambassador Julia Rodriguez, formerly Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez from Captain Chen's team, stood before the assembled representatives. Humanity accepts the Council's official recognition and looks forward to peaceful cooperation, she stated. However, let me be clear about one thing. We have not forgotten. The soldiers who were taken from us, both the survivors and those we lost, have taught us an important lesson about the galaxy. Trust must be earned. In a chamber across the station, Captain Chen, now Admiral Chen of Earth's new interstellar defense force, addressed a group of military attaches from various council species. The warning the council issued about humans isn't just for our protection, she told them. It's for yours as well. We don't seek conflict, but we prepare for it. It's in our nature. The Excelfori learned that when they tried to use us as weapons, only to find they couldn't control what they had unleashed. She activated a holographic display showing the Earth fleet, now expanded to 20 vessels incorporating both reverse-engineered alien technology and unique human innovations. We hope never to need these in war, but make no mistake, we will never again be taken by surprise. The next species that tries to drag humans into their conflict won't just lose their war, they'll start a new one. In the Council archives, a new protocol was filed alongside 7 Alpha. Protocol 7 Beta, commonly referred to as the Human Warning, stated in clear terms, any civilization that conscripts or deceives humans into participating in interstellar conflict does so at their own extreme peril. The response will be disproportionate to the provocation.